Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day. And these days, it is from my basement, so welcome to my basement, everybody. Today's rundown is going out to teachers everywhere out there. I know that in Canada, or at least in our community here, spring break is over, and the teachers are supposed to be back in school with the students. And we got a nice email for our kid from her teacher, and it made me really realize how much teachers live to, be a part of their communities and to work with children and to, give them some education, of course, but it's that connection. And it must be so weird to be a teacher right now and not be able to connect with your kids in a physical way and to see them. And that's why all of this telecommunication stuff and being able to, FaceTime with different people is so important right now. But my heart goes out to all the teachers out there. You do the best work in the world for us. You keep our kids educated and enlightened and, moving forward. And we are incredibly appreciative of you. All parents are. So this is for the teachers. And it's also for Trevor Moore, who said, Vic, I'm loving all the daily coverage. Gives me something to look forward to at the end of my day. And Trevor, thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you for watching. Let's get started with your rundown. One of the biggest games of the year has fallen victim to COVID-19. Sony and Naughty Dog have delayed The Last of Us Part 2. The game was slated to release on May 29th, but it's been delayed indefinitely, with Naughty Dog saying that the pandemic has made it impossible for them to launch the game to their satisfaction. It's unclear if this means they can't finish the game itself or if they just want to release it at a time when people are actually able to go to video game stores. Whatever the reason, Naughty Dog says they won't release the game until these issues are resolved, so no new release date has been announced. Sony has also delayed another new game, the PSVR exclusive Iron Man VR. No release date for that one either. Yep, we're going to start to see a lot of delays, I think, in video games. And it's not because teams can't move towards being able to, work from home and sort of log in and find ways to be in self-isolation and get some work done. It's just that some of these teams are massive and some of these files for some of these titles are going to be so large, it's going to be incredibly difficult for them. And of course, they've got to worry about all kinds of security and all of those other issues as well. And so we're going to start to see the disruption. And the other thing that we could definitely see with regards to The Last of Us, the timing on the marketing and the timing on the content itself in The Last of Us Part 2 is perhaps hitting a little bit too close to home with everybody in self-isolation through this pandemic and, with real lives being lost. There's definitely a sensitivity there at Sony and at Naughty Dog where they don't really want to talk about a civilization that's been completely devastated and dealing with all kinds of loss. And honestly, me as a reviewer, I was kind of amping myself up and trying to get myself, into the correct headspace to deal with that. I mean, I felt some of that weirdness when I was playing The Division 2, when I was playing Half-Life Alyx. These dystopian kind of nightmares and visions have been a part of popular culture and a part of science fiction culture for so long. They're not going to disappear, but now the world is going to have a much more tangible, approximation to content like this, I think it's the right move. It sucks that we're not going to be able to play The Last of Us Part 2 soon, but honestly, creatively, I think it's the right move. Let's hold off on that. Maybe it becomes one of the big PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 releases. We all know it's coming to the PlayStation 5 as well, but maybe it becomes one of the bigger holiday releases. There's another reason to hold out hope that next-generation consoles will arrive before the end of the year. Microsoft has reiterated their promise that the Xbox Series X will not be delayed as a result of COVID-19. Speaking with IGN, Xbox head Phil Spencer said that the new system is still on track to launch this holiday season, pointing out that supply chains in China have already started to make a comeback. There are conflicting reports about just how well the recovery is going in China, so hopefully there isn't another resurgence in that part of the world, especially one that would hurt factory workers. As for Microsoft, Phil Spencer says that they're taking the safety of their employees very seriously. The company has implemented work-from-home policies that have delayed production of new games like Minecraft Dungeons, Wasteland 3, and Microsoft Flight Simulator. That won't delay the release of the new Xbox itself because Spencer says that the launch of the new system isn't tied to any specific title. If it does arrive this year, hopefully there will be something to play. And that is an interesting statement right there, that it's not tied to any specific title. I think Xbox and Microsoft are kind of positioning Series X as an evolutionary step for people that really crave that and really want that. And my expectation is that they aren't necessarily looking to shoot out of the gate with the biggest numbers ever, received in the video game industry. They want it to be sort of the next step for players. I mean, what Microsoft is doing is they're saying, look, we make tons of games and we license lots of games and we're giving access to those games in lots of different ways. This sort of cross-compatibility between Xbox One and Xbox Series X with the improvements that you will get in the new hardware, and it's incredibly powerful for sure. But yeah, I think their whole statement all the way along has been to be inclusive and to let people sort of jump on the Xbox train in any way that they've got a ticket. They might want to play those games through xCloud or through the PC or through first generation Xbox One. Very interesting, but it may not be the thing that fires up the gaming community to race towards the Xbox Series X if there isn't that big title that really showcases what the hardware is capable of. And my expectation has been that it's going to be Halo Infinite, but maybe, what he's kind of hinting at there is that it won't be quite ready for the launch of the Xbox Series X. But you know what? There's still going to be something to be excited about. I can't wait to see some software that is running at spec that is just incredible and mind-blowing and really kind of takes us into what next generation console video games can mean.
Get ready.
Sony is working hard on the PlayStation 5, but that doesn't mean the company hasn't set aside some big resources to help with the pandemic. The tech giant has announced that they're donating $100 million US to support those affected by COVID-19. In a statement, Sony promises to donate the money to different groups, including the World Health Organization, Doctors Without Borders, and UNICEF, with the goal of supporting treatment, containment, and research into cures. Sony will also use the money to support content creators like game developers and indie film studios that have taken a big financial hit. Several other big tech companies and game developers have announced similar donations of their own. Yep, this is what it's all about. We need to help each other, and companies like Sony and other big companies out there that are putting down money and resources to, assist everybody in this pandemic is absolutely the right thing to see. But that, I think, works all the way down to sort of the community level and being respectful of your neighbors and giving each other space and respectful space, but checking in with people and using, the social media services that we have to kind of check in on your friends. We need to reach out to each other, and we need to take care of each other. And, it's really wonderful to see video game companies stepping up to this. Yeah, we're going to get through this. The life on the other side of this pandemic is going to be wonderful, and there's lots to be excited about and hopeful for. And I think we're going to appreciate it all a lot more because we've seen how fragile our sort of day-to-day can be. During this dark and scary time of self-isolation, it might be cathartic to jump into a world that's even more dark and scary. Take a look at the first footage from the new game Mortal Shell. It's described as a Dark Souls-like action RPG where players will brave a decrepit fantasy world and take on horrific enemies and boss battles, all while using melee combat. Yep, it looks a lot like Dark Souls. Mortal Shell is the first big project from developer Cold Symmetry, a new studio founded by devs who've worked on big franchises like Call of Duty, Diablo, and Halo. It's coming to the PS4, Xbox One, and PC this fall. Game looks incredible, huh? It looks really, really nice. It's amazing how influential Dark Souls has become across lots of games that sort of emulate its systems and its kind of setting and its dark overtones, but also right down to like little indie side-scrolling, roguelikes and things like that. It's almost like the new Metroidvania in a way, It's like carved out a genre niche unto itself. That doesn't take away from playing games that sort of echo that experience a little bit, like Nioh or Code Vein, which I've dabbled in. I've dabbled in both of those a little bit, and I'll have some thoughts on those soon. But Mortal Shell looks like it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun, and it looks like there's a tremendous pedigree involved in its development. So count me excited on this one, and count me ready to have the game kick my butt. Turns out you don't need a PC to play John Wick's latest adventure. Good Shepherd Entertainment has announced that last year's PC game, John Wick Hex, will finally make its console debut on May 5th. It's only been announced for the PS4, and there's no word if it will come to the Switch or Xbox One. We do know that the controls have been redesigned. John Wick Hex is a top-down turn-based tactical game similar to XCOM, so hopefully those mouse and keyboard controls translate all right to a PS4 controller. Looking ahead, the next John Wick movie is scheduled to hit theaters on May 21st, 2021, but with most movies being pushed back, that might change. I played John Wick Hex on PC last year, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty damn cool. Certainly not the first thing you would think of with a John Wick game. It had all of these little action elements and moments in there, but yeah, it's all turn-based, so you have to be strategic. But when you extrapolate and look at John Wick as a franchise from the bird's eye, you recognize that every one of his moves in his movies has been very strategic and very by the numbers. It's incredible choreography, obviously, when they're making the movies, but you can kind of boil that down to the numbers that it would take to create a tactical strategy game like this. I would really like to see the game, though, on Nintendo Switch. Western Nintendo fans are finally going to be able to jump into one of Mario's biggest adventures. The long-running Japanese manga series Super Mario Khan is coming to North America for the first time. Viz Media has announced a special compilation book called Super Mario Bros. Manga Mania, which will consolidate the best stories from the series, complete with new English translations. Although some of the books have been translated into other languages like French and Spanish, this will be the first official English version of the books. The manga first hit shelves in Japan back in 1991 and has been running ever since, with more than 50 volumes. So Western fans have a lot of catching up to do. Keep in mind that this new book from Viz Media is just a compilation and not the complete series. It hits North America later this year. I think this will be a lot of fun to read through, especially with my kid, you know? I took a look at some of the artwork for this series, and it looks incredible. And, you know, there's so much amazing character building and mythology building around the Mario universe, so I'm excited to see what all the fuss is about and to read some of these stories. And what a great way to help celebrate the 35th anniversary of Mario. And hopefully this manga series or this manga compilation coming out is tied to the re-release and remastering of lots of classic Mario games, which is the big rumor going around right now, and everything playable on Nintendo Switch. Imagine being able to play almost every Mario game that's been made, sort of mainline Mario game, on Nintendo Switch in 2020. That would be amazing. It would also be amazing to read more of this manga. Very good stuff. All right, that's going to do it for our rundown today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new rundown for you. In the meantime, we've got lots of other content for you to check out, so please do. And if you dig our stuff, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button. Please share our material with whomever you would like. Thank you to all of our EPN members and for everybody that's been buying the EPN merch. We really appreciate you. Thank you. We'll see you soon. And until then, play forever.